Grown-up talk here. If you even have the inkling of a hangover, you definitely do not want to ride Mission Space. Disney World, EPCOT, a place I have been coming literally since I was a little kid. There were times in my life that I could come to Disney World, stay in a park from 8 in the morning until midnight, ride everything, eat anything, and go home happy. Unfortunately, those days are over. And a couple years ago, I made a one-off video called Old Person's Guide to Disney World, where I walked around the Magic Kingdom and talked a little bit about the attractions there from an old person's point of view. And when I say old person, I am including myself. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. I've been making travel videos for over 15 years of popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it's like to be there. And in this year, 2024, I'm gonna be 50. And I'm so happy about that. And especially on this trip, I've just realized I can't do Disney the way I used to. So I want to continue this series about how to do Disney as an old person, take you all through EPCOT and kind of warn you about the things you need to know about for all the big attractions here, because we're old now. Maybe our back doesn't do what it used to do. Maybe the knees don't do what they used to do. And honestly, maybe you're just hungover. And the first attraction I want to tell you about is The Land, home to 2 slow-moving attractions that just about anybody can do, and a great place to have lunch.
Take a look at EPCOT from above. We're gonna start on this side of the park. This is definitely the mellower side of EPCOT, and there isn't much to worry about over here. The Land is directly in the middle, surrounded by living seas and imagination.
We almost always come to The Land for lunch or dinner because there's lots of seating and there's lots of food options, and it's inside, which means it's either going to be air conditioned or heated, depending on which one is necessary.
The Sunshine Season food court takes up a large part of the main building, and as mentioned, we usually end up there at least once during our visit.
I admit, now that I'm walking in here again, it is kind of giving me shopping mall food court vibes, but
we're still at Disney.
During peak times, the tables can fill up quickly, so if you have a few people in your party, take one person's order and then have them go look for a table before you get your food. Another thing I like about this food court is the variety of options. Many of the other EPCOT dining venues are kind of focused on food from one country or one style, and there's a little bit of everything here, including quick bites, drinks, meals, and sweet stuff.
Just to give you a little idea here, I got I guess this is what's called a large drink. And this is my vegetable korma with like plant-based chicken. And this whole thing costs, what does it say here? $15.74. Marcus got something else with meat in it, and that cost just a little bit more. Oh, Marcus got a bigger drink than I did. Oh well. And we are inside, sitting down. It's relatively quiet and a nice place to just kind of reset and recharge as an old person. As mentioned, there are 2 attractions within this building that are basically for everybody. One of them is called Living with the Land, which is a slow-moving boat ride that will give you a great chance to digest your food and sit down for about 15 minutes. It does not go fast, it does not go backwards, it does not spin around, you just sit there and look at the land. The other attraction in here is called Soarin'. It is also an attraction that basically anybody can ride. It is a very relaxing simulator style ride. One thing to note about the waiting area for Soarin' is the line is very boring. There's nothing happening here. Bring a book. If you are highly sensitive to motion sickness, then it might not be for you. Also, if you kind of get freaked out by heights, might not want to do it. But other than that, a lot of people really love this ride. I think it's okay, but as far as being an old person, it's not going to give you any problems.
And just a short cast of your fishing lure down the path is the Seas Pavilion with Nemo and friends. Cuteness factor high, danger factor for old people very low. If you've ever been to a sea life attraction or something like Underwater World, this is very similar, but they also have dolphins and manatees, as well as a slow-moving ride starring everyone's favorite clownfish, Nemo. Nothing to worry about here.
Journey into Imagination and the Magic Eye Theater, no problem for old people. Monorail.
The only moving ride in the Imagination Pavilion is also very slow moving and should be fine for everyone, unless you can't deal with little purple dinosaurs or the smell of fake skunk farts, that is. Honorable mention, even though not a moving ride, is the Journey of Water. This is an interactive walkthrough exhibit that is relatively new, and I have to tell you, we had way more fun in there than we thought we would. You might get a little wet while strolling around the paths, so if that's gonna make you cranky, or if the sounds of splashing water are gonna make you have a bathroom emergency, then, you know, be careful and go pee before you walk in there. And since we're by the entrance to the park, it's time to talk about
Spaceship Earth, the trademark symbol of EPCOT, also very old person friendly. Little tip I can give you if you don't know it already is during the first half of the day, the lines for Spaceship Earth are generally pretty long. But later in the day, they get much shorter because Spaceship Earth, although it's a really interesting experience, it's not something you're gonna wanna do like 4 or 5 times. So after everybody's ridden it once, they kind of move on and do other things.
Okay, before we get to the rides in the park that you really need to watch out for, let's look at the 3 moving attractions in the World Showcase section of the park, and don't forget to subscribe if you've watched this far. Mexico is not only a great place to get a margarita and a snack, like these tasty empanadas, but there is also a slow-moving boat ride called Gran Fiesta Tour that almost never has more than a 20-minute wait. Hop in a boat and float through some somewhat outdated scenes of Mexico starring Donald Duck and the 3 Caballeros. There are slow-moving boat rides, there's air conditioning, there's several places to get tequila.
Definitely old person friendly.
Just a little ways down the path is the Norway Pavilion, which is home to the Frozen Ever After boat ride. Warning, this is a ride to watch out for. While it does include some very cute scenes and animatronics from the movies like Oaken's Shop and Sauna, you'll meet Olaf and Sven, and go on a slow ride up to Elsa's Ice Palace, but from there, it does pick up speed, move backwards, and it ends with a drop that's definitely too big for people who don't like roller coasters. If you can handle the drop on Pirates of the Caribbean, you'll be fine. If that's too much for you, definitely don't ride Frozen. And back in France is a relatively new area tucked away in the corner where you can enjoy Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
This ride is so cute, but it's not for everybody. Beware.
On this adventure, you wear 3D glasses and ride through Remy's restaurant. You'll be chased around by the employees of the restaurant, and parts of it are fast and very disorienting. There are no drops per se, but it's kind of like watching a 3D movie while actually moving around through the restaurant, and I know that some people with motion sickness will definitely have a problem with this. If what you're worried about is your back or your neck, I wouldn't describe the motion as jarring or bumpy in any way, so you should be fine.
And now we come to 3 attractions that old people definitely need to be aware of. Test Track, Guardians of the Galaxy, and this little ditty behind me called Mission Space.
Test Track gives you the opportunity to ride in a fast-moving car through a test ground for vehicles, basically. Some reports say this is still the fastest ride in all of Disney World, and if you have problems with your back or your neck, you definitely do not want to ride this ride. It does go very fast and have several tight curves and stops.
Mission Space is basically the only ride here at EPCOT that I more or less don't ride. I don't mind simulators, but Mission Space takes it to a whole new level. And if you're not good with spinning, positive G-forces, or being stuck in a small cabin, or grown-up talk here, you even have the inkling of a hangover, you definitely do not want to ride Mission Space.
And the newest, biggest, and craziest experience in EPCOT is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Longtime EPCOT fans may still miss the universe of energy, but thrill seekers are very happy about this update. One thing to note, as of editing this video, you still need to use the complicated boarding group system to be allowed to join the queue. Make sure you inform yourself how that all works before you get to the park, or you will not be getting on this ride.
Guardians of the Galaxy is so much fun. It is the coolest mix of roller coaster, simulator, movie, show. It's really hard to explain what happens in there. But what I can tell you is, even if you like roller coasters, this one might not be for you.
While flying through space and time, you will go up, down, forwards, and backwards, and spin around. I absolutely love this ride, but I couldn't ride it twice in a row because it's really disorienting and it is a very big, very long roller coaster type ride. And I guess that's about all I can think of to tell you about moving things in Epcot that you might have to worry about or not worry about as an old person. And of course, there are many of great reasons to visit Epcot that I didn't talk about in this video. The things around World Showcase and especially the nighttime fireworks spectacular. Epcot is one of our favorite theme parks anywhere. We love the mix of mellow and thrilling rides, the opportunities to try food from around the world, and I think the only complaint that I have about the park is that it's just so big and you really do a lot of walking when you spend the whole day in Epcot.
Thanks for hanging out with me today at Epcot. I hope this video helped you or at least entertained you. Make sure you subscribe before you go, press that thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you back here on the very unofficial travel guides. Bye-bye.